see being offered and things that can be done, but there's seldom any work or any word about the idea of how impacted we are with feminism and how it has truly caused the degradation of our family institution. And I think we need to also talk about that and remember that when we look at the education system. Women, we were responsible for teaching our children. You know, black women, we were the ones while the men went out and they gathered and they hunted. And for black women, I still am always perturbed at the idea of how we got into the feminist struggle in the first place. Because we didn't inherit anything. The only thing it gave us was a longer work day, and now we pay taxes, right? Before, we still had the same work that we were doing. We still were working for rich white women who had access to their husbands' money anyway. And now that they have access to the money and they have the right to vote and they have all these wonderful things, we're still working for them and making them rich, and they're still doing the same thing they were doing before. Nothing. So it hasn't done anything for us per se. And I would like Dr. Umar to really talk about some of, or the role that understanding these gender-specific roles play, what these roles play in the bringing up of our children, and also the role it plays on the impact of education that they receive.
I think that's a good question, because I think this feminist initiative within the black community is going to turn an already difficult problem between black men and black women into a worse problem in the next generation. Because now what you have are black men and black women competing over who's in charge. And one thing that I don't think we recognize, because we talk about the demise of the black family, but what a lot of people fail to realize, the demise of the black family occurred at the same time as the demise of the black man as an economic force in the black family. And what they did systematically and intentionally was eliminate the black woman's need for the black male. They eliminated her dependency by making him economically irrelevant. And at the same time, intentionally overeducating black women, giving them the positions and the education. So the black woman in America is the only woman who out-earns her mate. She's the only one. That's not good for us. And they didn't do it because they like black women. They do it because they want to see us at each other's throats. And don't get me wrong. If my wife makes more money than me or has more education than me, that in and of itself is not a problem. It becomes a problem when I interpret that to be a threat on my manhood, or if she interprets that to mean that I am somehow useless to her. But we have to get that in order, because I'm seeing young people have those same conversations today, and I don't like the way it's looking. It's more conflict between black men and black women as a result of that. Y'all out, Queen?
Yes, sir.
All right, babe. Take care now. Yes, ma'am. And I think they're more at each other's necks at this time because of it. You know, I'm hearing little young black girls saying, I ain't doing nothing for no man. He better come do it for me. Like, and I'm seeing the same thing from the boys. You know what I mean? Like, there's no humility towards the opposite gender. We have no humility, no compassion. Like, I don't see a lot of young black women have compassion for black men, and I don't see a lot of black men have compassion for young black women.
But also on the flip side of that, though, we have a lot of, and I remember watching a lecture with you a few years ago when you said something that was very powerful to me. You said black women need to stop raising their men. And I found it so, and I'll put it in context for those who've never seen the lecture. And you were talking about black women raising their sons to be their men instead of being their sons. And I thought that was so profound because coming also from the Caribbean or the West Indies, We have a lot of, there were things, women, your son was not allowed to do. We've raised our men to think, okay, cooking is bad. The woman is supposed to cook. The woman is supposed to carry 95% of the load. And if I love you, I'm not talking about if you look like your daddy and I love your father, but if I love you, then you can do whatever you want is okay by mom. And we raise our sons to be our lovers, raise our sons to be our men, instead of raising them to be capable and equipped of handling themselves later on in life, to teach them certain things. We put them on our backs and we carry them. And it's coming to the point now that our sons don't see the need to cook. You know, if you don't get that wife that loves to cook, or you don't, because he wants that person to always have to carry him, because that's what mom did for all of his life. And I'm thinking that's the psychology of how us as women also undermine that male influence that is supposed to be generated naturally by the Almighty. We take it and we say, okay, you're my son, I love you, I'm going to cook for you, I'm going to wash for you, I'm going to do all these things for you, instead of teaching you how to be self-sufficient. And I thought that was a great point when you said we need to stop raising our men and raise our sons to be men. And I don't know if you remember when you were talking.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so profound. Stop raising to love and raise your sons. I thought that was good.
And see, the whole black male-female relationship situation, which is a whole monster in and of itself. But one thing, and I'm not married, but having been a therapist and having worked with so many families over the past almost 20 years now, you just see certain themes. And if I was just to name like the 4 or 5 major themes that I see dysfunctionally between black men and black women, number one, too often we are not dating because we're interested in building a future with somebody. We're dating to run away from personal problems we don't want to face. Dating is a very powerful distraction. And one of the reasons we like it so much is because while you're so into the other person, you don't have to be into yourself. It becomes a form of escapism, just like religion can be escapism. Black consciousness can be escapism. Romance is too. That's one issue. Number two, too many of us have traumas that we have not healed from. That means we will never be emotionally available to our partners anyway, because we haven't even emotionally faced some of our own deficits. You know, you got a sister who's been sexually abused, she never dealt with it. She can't possibly be totally available to the man she's dealing with. Because when you have that type of trauma, that almost breeds a fear in you to not see it happen again, and a mistrust for all men because of what one man done. You haven't faced it. If a boy had to deal with abandonment from his mother and he ain't faced that yet, how is he going to be emotionally available? Traumatized people are very needy people. They're very needy. So how can they be available to you when they're so busy focused on their own deficits? Number three, looking for somebody to make us happy. Looking for somebody to make us happy. I hear it all the time in the high schools. Dr. Johnson, I'm going to find me a man to make me happy. You won't find him. He don't exist. Happiness is an internal generated emotion. Nothing outside of you can give you happiness but you. But we keep on looking for it. Because in essence, we are a community of miserable people looking for other miserable people to make us happy. And then the fourth thing is selfishness. Even with married couples, most of them, a lot of them, are not ready to give up their selfishness. How are you talking about you trying to build a family and you selfish? When you say that I want to build something with you, that means you have to give up some of your individuality. You can no longer just do what you want to do because you now have an obligation to me now. But we don't want that. We want to keep on doing what we've been doing even in the relationship. You can't. And then I think the fifth piece is I don't think we study each other enough, thoroughly enough, before we actually begin to settle down. Because we only care about what we want. We never really pay attention to what that other person was really all about. And then the unmet needs is a big problem. Most of us come from homes where trauma and abuse took place, which gave us a bad example of how families are supposed to operate. And in those abusive homes, we never got the love, the intimacy, the trust that we needed. So we're scared to give it to others, or we're so thirsty that we're demanding so much of it from others that we push them away, you know, because we're clouding their personal space all the time. So I just think that we got to really step back and take a hard look at how we function so we don't infect the next generation with the same degree, you know, of insecurities. And I think the white man is too involved in our families. The whole child support, custody, court thing, it's trifling. Absolutely trifling that black people are going to white people to work out issues about their children. That is sick. The mother and father who laid down to make this child have to go to a white man to decide how they're going to raise the child.
They don't even get the money. The money goes into social services.
Oh, they done made a whole industry out of child support. Because they charging co-fees and yeah. And I didn't know that all those fees was built into child support until recently.
They don't really get that money. They might get, if it's like $600 something, people might get $50 of that. The rest of the money goes.
But you know where a lot of that come from too? The fact that we don't really have a functioning council of elders that has the trust of the community, because a lot of these problems would be solved with the council of elders. If my child's mother ain't letting me see my child, I can go to the elders.
Why would they make you lose your job behind that? Sometimes I hear people saying I lost my job because I had to pay child support.
Well, because child support, failure to pay child support is a felony in many states now. You see, it's a felony. The worst thing that happened was when they made child support a felony. Because now, with that, you know what that really means? That really means that every black man paying child support is technically under the supervision of the criminal justice system. And when you get locked up for not being able to pay it, the bill continues to run while you're in jail. So when you come out of jail, you owe more than what you owed when you went in, and then you got another date with the judge, and then you go see the judge, and guess what the judge tells you? You say, Judge, I just got out of jail. I ain't even had time to find a job. You know what the judge tells you? That ain't my problem. You owe $15,000. No, but check this out. Then he tells you, I'm going to give you an appointment for 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I want half that money. And you say, Your Honor, how am I going to get half that money in 3 weeks? I don't know, but you better have $7,500 when you come back. Do you know what the judge just told that brother to do? What did the judge just tell him to do? He told him to go rob somebody. He told him to go sell some drugs. He told him to go steal a car. How else is a man with a felony going to get $7,500 after taxes in 3 weeks? And so the criminal justice system is forcing black men to be criminal.
On the criminal justice thing about child support and stuff, they I've taken them on trips to court for child support while being locked up. And they have been taking some of their, like, they get little jobs in there where they don't make much money, but they are starting to take stuff like that away from them also. But I know I've taken some to court for child support, and you locked up, and they know you don't have a job. And that's, to me, that's a waste of taxpayers' money, because you know you're not going to get anything from them.
Wow. See, here's my thing. If a man can pay, first of all, y'all should be able to make out an arrangement without going.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but also what I've also noticed in a lot of cases, because I see them in the schools all the time, a lot of times the men were willing to pay. And in many cases, they were willing to pay what the woman wanted. But she wanted the power and control of not having to work with him. She wanted the ability to not even have to coordinate, collaborate with the father. And so a lot of times child support is done out of revenge, hurt, and other types of situations like that. And it's just so unfortunate. I know. I had a brother cry to me. He cried. He said, Doc, they take my whole check. I got to move back in with my mother. I don't have money for my own bills. It is crippling. It is crippling. And I think it's hurting the trust because now a lot of men scared. Because they're like, listen, when I go to the colleges, I've never had this before, but I got young men telling me they're not even going to have children.
Well, a lot of times, a lot of these girls don't even take the guys down there. They go turn them for child care. Child care automatically do that. I had to tell people I didn't know what my baby father was because I didn't want that to happen.
Only problem is that don't fly no more because now what they do, if you don't know who the baby daddy is, you're not getting no services. They will make you go and get a name or a social. And if you don't come back with a name or a social, you're not getting anything. That's how they force the hands now.
See, they probably do that. Not just saying back in the day.
Back in the day you was cool. Not no more.
Then I ended up having to take him back to court to get his name on the birth certificate because I was like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like so messed up. So, I mean,
it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It is so bad. Sister Patricia.
So I have 2 questions because I'm live, and these 2 questions are from previous discussions, but they wanted to get the answers to the questions. Going back to the homeschooling piece, a mother is asking, where do I find the resources to create a plan of accountability for my child's school right now? So I guess she wants a plan of accountability for her child's school right now. If I know the mother specifically, she lives in Lackawanna, so it's a suburban charter school, I believe, that's back there. And she wants to know the answers to that question.
That's going to depend on the school. Plan of accountability, I
had to create a plan of accountability for my children's,
when y'all say plan of accountability, what do you mean by that?
Okay.
A plan.
You hear, what do you mean by a plan of accountability for your child's school?
A plan.
The second question is a gentleman who's asking, how do we help the youth when they seem to be in this state of confusion right now? And how do we build them back up? So.
Well, the problem with the youth is we've allowed them to become what they are. They are totally our fault. We dropped the ball, and we've dropped it for about 2 generations now. We dropped it so long that being a dysfunctional black teenager is like the norm now. We have abandoned them, we have neglected them, and we have let white folk us again. You know why? Because back then we protected our children. Back then we looked out for them. The elders could spank you because you respected the elders because the elders wouldn't let nobody do nothing wrong to you. Not today. Our daughters getting molested by the elders in some cases. You know what I mean? So the respect ain't there both ways. We have stopped being what our children need us to be, and that's why they don't respect us, because children cannot respect weakness. They can't.
I can attest to that just real quick.
Sure.
My current girlfriend, mother, these 2, she actually had a situation where she was molested. Unfortunately, in my 27 years of life on this earth, 99 to 100% of the females I've encountered, whether it be partners or just people I know, have all been molested by either an uncle, grandfather, father's friend, family friend. 99.
In some cases, pregnant by them. But go ahead.
Said, you touched her. Okay, so I'll sit down with you. Did you touch her? No, I wouldn't do that. I love you, babe. You know, later, that, this, and the third. Mom's side, boyfriend. Now, the trust between mom and daughter is gone.
It's gone.
Right. And it's gone forever. I know girls to this day that cuss their moms out the same way white kids cuss their parents out. And their moms don't do nothing because that lack of respect that they had, because you didn't protect me when I needed you to.
Yeah.
You expect me to respect you or follow your guidance or your rules when you didn't do what you were supposed to do, but you expect me to do what I'm supposed to do.
And teenage pregnancy plays into that too, because the moms and daughters are not that far in age. And so now you have a situation where the mom is 40, the daughter is 20, and the boyfriend, the mom is dating a 30-year-old. Mom 40, her boyfriend 30, 35, the daughter 20, you feel me? So the mom is feeling insecure, and then she see the boyfriend looking at the daughter, but she trying to act like she don't because she's so thirsty to have a man around. You know, I've seen situations where the man was dealing with the daughter and the mom. You know what I mean? And so that whole teenage pregnancy thing ain't good either because the ages are too close. You know, and it's just sad. It's very, very sad.
Half of these young girls, they already looking for sugar daddy. Just like some of these young men are looking for older women. That's what they're looking for now. That's what they want. They don't care about a person their age. Because I done had young girls coming to me telling me they want a sugar daddy. Do something. Do some push-ups or something. Read a book or something.
Right. But most of the times, the girls, they just need that father's energy. All right, y'all. One love, everybody. Be safe, y'all. Help me find that Toronto now. That Toronto venue. All right, family.
Wait a minute, peace and love. Before Sister comes out, I just wanted to say I can relate to what you were saying, or I'm glad you brought that point up about women raising their men, because in some situations, you know, when you have a woman that has a man, and then you got the woman saying that the man don't have any home training, and I don't got time to raise somebody else's kid, the woman feels as though the man is the kid, and then at the same time, she's treating the kid like the man. So I know what you're talking about.
Well, I got it from him.
Well, I know what you are talking about. I know what you're talking
I
about.
mean, it makes sense, and a lot
It
of
really
it
does.
is, we don't see it for what it really is, and it's a lot, like he said, he keeps saying, the idea of education is like the important part. And